Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's another beautiful day here in North Carolina. It's turned off warm and it's dry. Unlike a lot of you are getting way too much rain, we need some here. Kind of the same story as it was last year. But anyway, I'll give you a little update on what's going on. Be a little different video today, probably starting out anyway. Dylan is on his way. He made a delivery. Let me give you a rundown on that right quick. So I don't know if any of you guys remember, I'll try to throw a card up here when I went to the western part of North Carolina and bought that nice cultipacker. Met a gentleman up there. He's got a YouTube channel, WildBerry Farms. I'll put a link in the description down below. We've become pretty good friends, keep in contact quite regular. He's got a K2 gleaner, and he messaged me about a month ago and asked me if I knew anybody that'd be interested in hauling grain auger for him from Oakley's combine and meet him, you know, up this way. Because it's about a 5-hour run for him. So naturally I thought of Dylan because he's only like 20 minutes from Oakley. So got those two in contact. It's a new piece, they had to wait on it to come in, so it did. Dylan went over and picked it up, and he's meeting him in Statesville, North Carolina, which is a good happy medium with us all. And then Dylan's going to come back by here and drop my hay tedder off and the extra corn head I had when I got Scott's combine. So pretty cool, I think, as far as the only reason I know these two is through YouTube, and of course Dylan with cousin Scott, and then WildBerry Farms. I got met him through Marketplace, you know, looking for the cultipacker, and then realized who it was. So pretty cool. But I'll bring you along for a little bit of it. Jack's pushing on the fence here behind me, so that means I need to get off the camera and get to work, get started on the house over here again until Dylan gets here, and see if we can dig the loader out. Stay tuned.
Brandon has all of it. Make a trip out of it.
I get you do that. You do that. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I'm John.
I'm Nelson. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm sure we'll see each other again before it's over with.
I know he's going to ask me to go over there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Welcome back. Try to get this tire fixed on my tedder. I think the first couple clips you've seen the unorthodox unloading process. Seemed like I was struggling with the 1086 that day, getting a simple tedder off and the header, corn header. But anyway, so you're gonna be seeing, you're gonna be seeing this video prior to the hay cutting. I actually cut yesterday the orchard grass. I'm very tickled with it. It's not pure by any means. Had a little bit of wheat sprouts here or there, a little bit of oat sprouts here or there, a little bit of velvet grass, no weeds at all. So the 2,4-D did well, which I said all that in that video. But anyway, so I got to get it tethered because it is very, very, very thick, very thick. So hopefully we get this tire swapped over, get that back on the tether, get it hooked to the 165, pull it around here, and put the drive shaft on it. I got to reinstall a couple of tines. He's left those with me, and hopefully go down here and throw this hay around. So bring along for a little bit of it anyway. So I'm sure this is going to be basically like the loader was. I'm probably going to have to cut the camera off because one of the most aggravating things in the world to mount and dismount in one of these small little tires. The rim's got some rust on it, so I'm going to have to get the tire completely off and clean it up a little bit before we put the new tube back in it. So sometimes you can do it with screwdrivers. It's a newer tire, so that's one good thing. But Dylan, if I can remember, I'll throw a card up where I showed you guys when I think I went and picked something up from him, but I showed you his new tether. So the only reason he quit using this one was because he got a little aggravated with moving it down the road. He said every time he moved it, something would happen. Not any fault of the tether, just the way the luck rolled. So he got kind of aggravated with it and went and bought the brand new one. So I can empathize with that quite a bit because that's what happened to me with the trying to find my tire tool. Hang on. Well, of course I can't find my tire tool. You never can find tools when you need them. But anyway, I'll do it with some screwdrivers. But he said that he just got tired of messing with it. And what I was saying is I can empathize with that, because if you've been with me from the very beginning, you know that I had and went through the same ordeal with my disc plow. That was the first thing I ever put on the channel. It was more or less a disc tiller. I converted it over to hydraulic and just never could get it right. It wasn't made to do what I wanted it to do, so it really wasn't the tool's fault. And that's kind of where Dylan was with this. But I don't blame him. He does monumental amounts of hay, so he needed a bigger rig anyway. So I wound up with it. Can't complain about that really, because we sure need one. And I'm glad, because there's no way that I would have been able to mess with this hay or do anything with it trying to roll it over with a roller bar rake like I've done in the past. It's way too thick. I really should have probably cut it before now. It was kind of misleading, or not misleading, but got too big a bite there. It didn't look as thick as it actually turned out to be in different places. So that's that. I'm gonna pinch my finger right here and not be very nice, so we're gonna cut the camera off. I'll bring you back when we get this situated. Well, we got it on there. Wasn't too bad. Sometimes it's better not to have the camera on. I found that if it's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong when the camera's on. So superstition maybe, I don't know. But walk down here and see. Dylan pulled it off the other day while I had it on the 1086. I can't remember what it's gonna take to get it back on. Hopefully won't be too bad. Get this installed, get it around front, get those tines on, and go from there. That'll probably be as much as I bring you guys along on this one. Don't want to bore you too much with working stuff. We might get a clip or two of it working right off the bat, just to make sure if I don't destroy it. Stay tuned. Okay, it's hooked up. I turned it on. It spins. Put the tines on. I guess I need to get a whole new set at some point, but the drive shaft's bent. Doesn't seem to be anything that's going to cause a huge problem, but we'll see. So I'm going to go out here and see what I can do. All I've ever had was a 3-point Walton and never could get it right. It basically wanted to TED level like that. So we're going to see. We got a little bit of play in the drawbar that I need to take care of with a bigger pin and some washers, but cross your fingers. I sure hope it works. behind the tractor in the building. It's overcast because it's a different day. Didn't get you any footage yesterday. Why? Complete and total failure once again. No real fault of anyone's other than the circumstances. So I think the last thing you saw yesterday was me headed out to the front to Ted a little bit. I was super excited about it. The tire went good. You know, we got the tines on. Everything was, it worked phenomenal as far as turning it on, everything's spinning. Got the hitch kind of situated. I still got a little bit of slop in the drawbar. I'll work on that today with a strap. Got out there and started down my first windrow, and it just was not looking like it should. One thing that I've always wanted about the tedder, with me making hay, drying of course, but the other is kind of level the playing field on how I'm going to rake it. With a roller bar rake, you know, I don't have to worry about continually roping it if I need to move it over 3 or 4 or 5 feet. I've always somewhat kind of had to follow my mowing path, and I'm not the best at any of this by any means. So I thought, well, once the tedder works perfect, you know, I'm gonna have a nice smooth layer of good dry hay, and I can rake it whichever direction I want to make it easier on the baler man, which is me. Well, it just wasn't working right. So tried to move over on the windrow, tried to catch 2 windrows, which I know is not right. Try to center it up, just was not working. Something just wasn't right. Now granted, I'm green, I really don't know what I'm talking about. I've never done this before. The one I had was basically just threw hay everywhere. It was not like, it didn't work either. So in a nutshell, the problem is this tedder started out life as a 4 basket. So any of you guys that are smart and been around this stuff, you know what the problem is right off the bat, because it's only 2 basket now. So let me turn the camera around here, babble again for a minute or two. We're gonna have to make do, see what happens, and then reevaluate from there. I'll try to explain what it's doing. So Dylan had informed me of this way back when I bought it well over a year ago, and we had talked about it, and I remembered it after I figured out what was going on yesterday. But me being a greenhorn, I know nothing about this stuff. So anyway, bottom line, this tedder should have another basket on the outside, or it did at one time. Another basket over there. Sorry about the fingers in the screen. So normally on 2 baskets, you know, they spin towards the inside, throw the hay out the back. Well, this one I don't really know how to explain it other than the fact it's turning the wrong way. So what it's doing is it's taking the hay, catching it down here in the middle, and it's throwing it around out to this side. And that one's doing the same thing. Not bad. I've adjusted the PTO speed and my ground speed, and like I said, I've got it to where, you know, it's laying pretty flat. So it's definitely beneficial over my bar rake getting stuff dry, but it's not right. So I don't know how the gears are beveled. When I get finished, I'm going to attempt possibly to take it apart here and see how the teeth are. I'm just wondering maybe if there's a possibility that I can take this basket and put it over here, and take this basket and put it over there. I don't think that's gonna work right, because I'm sure the gears are beveled a certain way. I don't know, that's just an idea. My OCD wants me to tear into it today, but there's no way I'm gonna do that. I can make do with what it is with this weather. So that's the problem. This is a Mora MH530 made by Agri Supply, or sold by Agri Supply. People hate them, but I just could not for the life of me figure out what it was, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. So I'll get you a little clip of it today, see what I can do. Again, I think, you know, with enough seat time, Dylan said he got used to it and made it work just like normal tedders, and I think you can. But with me being as green as I am, it's just not perfect. So don't laugh too hard, but just can't seem to win with this whole tedder situation. Well, you can kind of see what it's doing here. You see the few bare spots, and it leaves some clumps because it's throwing it out. But all in all, it's better than the bar rake as far as getting stuff dry, especially with this. It's not perfect by any means. If the rain will hold off for me one more day, I think we'll be okay. So if any of you guys know anything about it, down in the comments. If you think I can swap that around, let me know what I know about mechanics and the way gears and pinion gears work. I don't think I can, but maybe you guys know something. If not, we're probably gonna be in the market for possibly a new one. I'm about tired of messing with these used tedders, but nobody's fault but my own. I was told, and I probably would have done something different as far as going ahead and investigating and getting this here sooner, but I completely forgot about that. So Anyway, there it is. Let me get up to the shop. I'm sweating. I'm going to the house, guys. Hopefully things work out. I'm not sure what the future holds for the tedder. Like I said, nobody's fault but my own. That's what happens when you put things off and wait till the last minute. It bites me every single time. It did when I planted the oats with a drill. It's like I use something, or think about it, put it over the side, and not worry about it till I, get ready to do something else. But we shall see. Might be in the market for a new one. I don't know. If any of you guys know anything about those gears, if you think I can swap them around, if you know definitively that's not going to work with physics or whatever, let me know. If not, I might pull one side off. I get a minute, try it. If so, I believe it'll be fine because it's a good little tedder. Other than that, it's got some play and some wear in different places, but nothing that I can't, fix with a couple of shims here or there and tighten some bolts up. So works really good for what I want it to do, if we get it to spin the right way. But if not, let's see if anybody else wants it maybe for parts on another one. I don't know. They say those mowers are pretty common here in North Carolina because they're a cheap alternative to the more expensive rakes sold by Agri Supply. But anyway, wasn't a whole lot. Didn't get a chance to get your Mitch's signatures. WildBerry Farms, go over and check them out. Dealing with B&H Farms. He really helped me out a lot bringing the tedder here and then taking time out of his schedule to help me unload some stuff that wasn't what he brought. We unloaded the poles and the hay bed and the hay rake off the big truck, so he helped me with that. But really appreciate everything. Guys, thank you for following on the journey with me, and hopefully the next video you see we'll be putting some orchard grass mix in some squares. Keep your fingers crossed. See what happens in the next couple of days. Until then, thank you.